Game day just got better at Wooden Tap. Catch all the action with unbeatable tappy hour specials and crave-worthy bar bites. From wings and nachos to fan favorites made fresh from their scratch kitchen, there's something for everyone. Whether you're cheering with friends or just hungry for a win, Wooden Tap is your go-to spot for food, drinks, and live sports. Wooden Tap, come as you are, leave happy. Find your nearest tap at woodentap.com.
Welcome to the next stop on the college basketball tip-off tour here, presented by Wooden Tap. Today we're at Sacred Heart. We're at the Pitt Center. We're going to talk with head coach Anthony Latina, a couple of his players, and you're going to get to know this team that's picked third in the MAAC with the chance to really go on a run this year. So stay tuned to hear from Coach Latina and some of the players. We're here on our next stop at Sacred Heart, and joining me today we've got Coach Latina. So Coach, thanks so much for joining me.
Appreciate you being here.
So last year, big change for this program. Heading and playing in the MAAC, year one. Overall thoughts on making that transition now that you got a year under your belt?
Well, listen, it's a tough league. It's a league with a lot of tradition, some really excellent programs, some great coaches, and it's a little less forgiving league.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a bad night against any team in the league, you're going to lose. So and I think just in general, the size. Positional size and athleticism is a little bit better at every position. So we tried to prepare the best we could for that in recruiting. Yeah. We think we did a pretty good job going to the last weekend. You know, we went 0-2. Had we gone 2-0, we probably would have been the 4 seed. Yeah. So we were right there, but we weren't because you are what your record says you are. So hopefully, with a year under our belt, some experienced guys who've had success in the league back, we feel like we've hit on a couple of transfers. We're a little more equipped to sustained success. We've had moments where we looked like one of the best teams in the league. We just didn't have consistent enough stretches of that type of play. So that's what we're hoping to get to.
What's the biggest lesson learned from year one in the MAAC that now you can kind of apply heading into this season?
I think you had to go to the next game right away, because, there's no game, every coach and player goes into games saying, hey, we're going to win this one. We think you're going to lose some games that you think you're going to win, and you're going to win some games you probably thought you were going to lose, and being able to just go to the next game as quickly as possible. I don't think it's any different than in any other league in the country that you have to be ready to go to the next game. Our league's a little different in that the one difference in the MAAC is there are so many close games. I think for 2 straight years, I think the MAAC has led the country in games decided by 5 points or less. So every game is probably, or a large majority of games are coming down the last 5 minutes. So you have to be good in those situations. Now, you have to be good enough to get to the last 5 minutes, but history says in our league, a lot of these games are coming down to that. And the difference between finishing 1st and 7th is how good are you in those moments. And so we have to get better in those situations.
So we're talking here in mid-October, just a couple of weeks away, really, from the start of the season. How are you feeling about how your team is at this point in the offseason as you get ready to kick things off in just a few weeks?
Well, everyone's optimistic. Well, everyone's optimistic publicly, and then privately, everyone's miserable because they don't think they're going to win a game. So, we have some proven guys that have had success at this level. Obviously, we have a preseason first-team All-League player in Anquan Hill. We have a preseason second-team All-League player in Mekhi Connor, and a preseason third-team All-League player in Niall Ralph Byard. So those guys were picked that way because they had success in the league. Yeah. So we have some comfort level and confidence in those guys. And then we have 2 transfers that have had a lot of success at the college level. So we have 5 guys with a good track record of college basketball success. That is kind of a rarity these days.
Oh, 100%.
So we feel good about that. And those guys have shown to be very good players. We also feel like we have some returning guys that have improved. A guy like Taj Bryant, a guy like Falugi. And then we have some newcomers like Abdu Yad, and Jeremiah Jacobs and some of the young guards that are really pushing guys. So we feel like we have good depth. We feel like we have some proven guys, and now we got to go out and now we got to go out and do it. We got to be consistently good. We had an inter squad scrimmage last weekend, and we did some good things, but we've got to learn to play harder for longer stretches of time.
Okay,
that comes a little bit with games under your belt, but our talent level is at a place where we feel like we can be a major factor in the MAAC, but talent alone wins nothing.
Right.
It puts you in the discussion. Now you got to go perform, and you got to give maximum effort and energy and play unselfishly. I would say the thing that I'm most pleased about, though, is we are a very unselfish team right now for this early in the year. I think guys are really sharing the basketball, playing the right way. We just have to play a lot harder than we're playing right now.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest key for your team to be successful this season?
Well, health is always the
Yeah.
biggest key for everybody. Griffin Baruch, who's a big piece, is on the shelf right now. His season could be in jeopardy, but we can't lose many more guys if that's the case. We have good talent. If we can stay healthy, I think we're good enough to be right in the mix. Now we have to come together, be connected, do the right things, and then I think we'll be, hopefully, if we can stay healthy and do those things, with a month to go in the season, we're in the hunt to win the regular season conference championship.
Yeah. You talked about some of the guys on this roster, Mekhi, Connor, and Anquan Hill. You bring these guys back. In this era of college basketball, you talk about guys who are showing up on, preseason first, second teams. It's hard to retain those guys in this era. How did you and your staff go about being able to keep these guys here at Sacred Heart?
Well, since the people that watch this podcast are serious basketball fans, it starts with financial commitment first and foremost. I mean, those guys love it here. They want to be here. They all took a discount to stay here, but it wasn't. There was a commitment from the university saying, "Hey, if we're going to be good, we need to have some resources to keep our best players." So that's the first thing is commitment and alignment from our administration, which is vital, because that probably wouldn't have been the case 10 or 15 years ago at Sacred Heart. Now it is. So that's the first thing. And second thing is create an environment where they think they can be successful and where they can reach their goals. So you put those two things together and you have a chance to keep some guys. Yeah. You don't keep them all, but if you keep the right ones, which we think we did, we're picked in the top 3 in the preseason with some all-league guys. So, I mean, those two things, creating an environment where players believe that they're getting better, that they can reach their goals, both financially and athletically, and you have a decent formula to hopefully retain some players. So that's the hope, that we can continue that going forward, because we hope to have some very good young players again after this year, and we'll see what happens.
So Anquan Hill, Mekhi, Connor, they're both preseason team, first, second team. Take me through their game and what they bring to you and your team that you're expecting out of them this season.
Anquan is probably the best kid, great player combination we've ever had. I mean, he's so coachable. He's such a positive influence. I mean, he's as low maintenance as you're going to get for a great player. Yeah. He's probably the lowest maintenance great player I've ever had. I mean, there's no ego there. He just, he's such a good person. He's, I always joke, he's someone that you'd have no problem your daughter dating. He's just such a great kid. He's about all the right things, and we're very lucky to have him. I mean, he's a versatile player. Yeah. He shot 45% from 3 at 6'9". He's probably the best shooting center in the country, which is an unbelievable asset, especially when you have a style of play that shoots a lot of threes, and you have a point guard who's one of the best passing point guards in the country. It's just it creates a lot of issues for teams, because most teams don't have 5 men that can go out and guard.
Right.
And so now we really put teams in a lot of difficult decisions in pick and roll. So Anquan's versatility as an inside-outside guy is unique. His coachability is at the highest level. And I think the biggest thing, if Anquan is what we call him, if he can consistently play with a high motor, he will be very, very special this year, and will be right in the thick of things with Amari Monroe for Player of the Year. Yeah. With Mekhi, you have a player who is really just sees the game like a 30-year-old player, like a guy who's been in the NBA for 10 years. I mean, his vision is elite. He is a savant passing the ball. He makes passes sometimes in practice where everyone's like, holy cow. Sometimes we try to tell him, hey, you don't have to hit a home run every time. Singles are good too, which he did learn in as the season went on. But he is his basketball IQ and his feel is something that is, you don't teach that. No. It just is there. So he makes the game a lot easier. When he misses a practice because of an injury or what have you, there's a difference, because he just makes everyone else better, whether it's Anquan or Niall or Jan Farrell or whoever he's out there with. He gets them easy shots, or at the minimum easy advantageous opportunities on offense. So he's we've had a lot of great passers. We've had multiple players through the years since I've been here be in the top 10 in the country in assists, and he is as good a passer as anyone, whether it's Phil Gaetano, who coaches now at St. Louis, or Cam Parker, who was an all-time great passer, Brendan McGuire. He has that type of vision. And it's a unique skill that not a lot of players have nowadays, because scoring is such an emphasis at the younger levels that the gifted natural passer is
slept on a bit.
It's harder to find than it used to be. So we're thrilled. We're thrilled that he came back. He's a local product. He's from New Haven. This is home to him. I think he has a unique attachment to this university in this area, and more than any player we've ever had. And so that's special.
Yeah. So those are the two names that even if you're a casual college basketball fan, you probably know. Take us through another name or two of guys who might surprise, or that fans should be on the lookout for this season.
Well, Niall Ralph Byer is from Westchester, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. He is a shot-making player of the highest order. I mean, there's practices where he makes NBA level shots. Now, again, he's a guy who is going to move very far up on the scouting report, so he's got to be able to be consistently a little more engaged at all times. But his shot making is of the highest order. He's going to have multiple high 20s, low 30-point games, because he can. The joke is every time he shoots, the ball seems to go in. You know what I mean? So he's got good length. Again, if he can bring that consistent focus and engagement, he could be, maybe one of the best scorers in the league. And then we have two transfers that are really, really good players that we're thrilled to have. One is a Connecticut native. We've had a lot of success with Connecticut players, and I think Deshaun Gittins is right there with any of them. I mean, he is, he will not have the gaudy stats that maybe some of the other starters will have, like Niall or Quan or Kai, but he is just a winning player. Like, he's going to go in and he'll defend at a high level. He's a downhill driver. He can score it. He's got a very good feel for the game. He's played a lot of college basketball. He rebounds his position. I mean, he is, when we do our analytics at the end of every practice, he just grades higher than any player we have. I mean, he's probably been our best player in practice, and that's saying a lot because we have 3 all-league players preseason. So Deshaun is a winner. That's the best way to describe him. He's a winning player. And then lastly is Jan Farrell, who was an all-rookie player in the Atlantic 10. He's a career right about 38, 39, 40% from 3 guy. As a 4-man, he'll be replacing Tanner Thomas. He also has played a lot of basketball, has a pretty good feel, can put points on the board, can rebound. Again, he might get a little overlooked in the all-league discussion, but he's going to be a real good player for us. So certainly you start with those 5, but then we have some good pieces. A guy like Taj Bryant, who's really had a good offseason, a good preseason for us, is a guy who, depending on how long Griffin Baruch is out, he's going to see more minutes, and he could be a guy who plays with Mekhi off the ball, but also can handle it. He's a gritty, tough. He reminds me a lot of the guys that we had at Central Connecticut when I was an assistant for Coach D. These tough New York City gritty guards that does a little bit of everything. So, we feel like we have good depth. We have some good young pieces. Abdul Yad is coming in as a very highly rated player, probably the highest rated player we've ever recruited. He is, just a massive human being, and he has the ability and potential to be a all rookie of the year type guy for us. And but we have some other guys, kind of that have emerged a little bit. They didn't play much at all for us last year that are having really good preseasons. Like a Lucius Savadell Gibson or a Falugi. These guys are doing some good things. So we're going to need everybody because people do get hurt. Things happen. We're going to need a lot of different people to step up.
Yeah, sounds like you got some good depth there, which is always something good to have in college basketball.
Well, sometimes you worry like, hey, how are we going to play everybody? Yeah. And then by the time January rolls around, you're like, oh my God, who am I going to play? Because guys get hurt, and it's just a different animal in terms of guys missing games is just way more common now than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. You challenge your team all the time in the non-conference. But this year, I know you've got Nova, you've got Penn State, Duquesne. You're putting you guys through a test here early.
Yeah, probably a little tougher than we want it to be. Some of it is to challenge the guys. Some of it is financial. Always a little of both. You want to have some high-profile games on your schedule that your players and your fans could look forward to. But we're just trying to prepare ourselves the best we can and be competitive. I think at this level, trying to get through November and December with a little dignity, a little confidence is always the key because, you play these 4 money games, Towson too, who's picked to win the CAA, that's a guaranteed game as well. Like you play those 4 games and you could play well in all 4 and lose. So now you're 0-4 potentially to start. Not that you can't win those games, but on paper, and you play 12 non-conference games. So, just to be at 500, what do you have to go the rest of the way? You got to go 6-2.
Right.
Am I doing the math right?
Yeah,
11,
because 4.
You play 11. No,
11.
Yeah, so you got to go 6-1 to be 6-5. Now, if you're 6-5, no one's going to be like, oh wow, Sacred Heart's getting an at-large. But with our schedule, that's probably
pretty good.
Probably pretty good. That means we're 6-1 against teams our level.
Yeah.
Because the other teams on the schedule are no slouch either.
Right. No.
Like you interviewed my good friend Pat Sellers. Like going down to Central Connecticut, that's no walk in the park. I mean, they're he's coming off 2 great years and he's built a culture there of toughness. And I mean, anybody in our program thinks we're going down there and having an easy game.
No.
It's going to be a dogfight to win that game.
How big was it for you to keep that rivalry going now that you're not in the NEC, to keep playing Central year in year?
It's interesting. Central is a place, as you know, I coached there for 6 years. We won some championships. I have dear friend, my wife still works there. So I really root for Central Connecticut. And Pat's a dear friend who I respect and who I want to pick his brain more. The one regret I have is I want to go watch them practice.
Yeah.
Just to see what I can learn, because obviously what they're doing is special. So that's the downside. Is one is I root for them. Obviously, I can't root for them when we're playing them. And 2 is it's a resource that's kind of taken away from us. But with all that said, it's a game in today's world where finances are important because you need to save as much money as you can. So you have the resources to help, to have, good rev share, NIL money. It just makes too much sense. And it is a good rivalry. Back to the the Bill Dietrich, Dave Bike, CJ Jones days of the Division II powerhouses. So there is a connection to those places. I think Central Connecticut and Sacred Heart through the Bill Dietrich, Dave Bike days always had a healthy respect for each other. Obviously, with Pat and I continuing as dear friends, again, if it made sense not to play, I would. But it makes too much sense to keep playing the game, so we have to. So, and the rivalries are great. Like, truthfully, I think one of the things that most of the Connecticut schools are kind of coming to, and to James Jones's delight, is I think all of us are going to have to really start playing each other. It just from the landscape of college basketball, it doesn't make sense for that not to be the case anymore.
Yeah, well, we'll have to bring the Connecticut group of schools, brought to you by the Connecticut Scoreboard Podcast tournament, together, right?
Well, we're working. It's interesting. We are working on that. Anyone who will listen, we are trying to bring that back with New Haven now.
Yeah.
So now we have a 6th team.
Yeah.
So obviously UConn's in their own.
Yeah.
UConn's UConn, and nobody claims to be UConn, so they do their own thing. But the other 6 of us could have a healthy rivalry. It's not to say that we're going to be the Big 5 in Philadelphia, because that's decades and decades of tradition, you know what I mean? But like, we actually just had a breakfast, coaches versus cancer breakfast that Seth Greenberg puts on, and all the coaches, Connecticut coaches, go, and Coach Hurley was there, Coach Ariama was there too, and obviously they're a big draw. But like, I think someone had said this could be a special year, for Connecticut basketball. Obviously, UConn is UConn, and Danny's got them in the top 10 like he has for the last few years. But Yale's picked to win their league. Quinnipiac's picked to win our league. We're right behind them. So now you have 2 MAAC teams that could potentially, did I say Yale already? Yale's picked, Central Connecticut's going to be picked 1 or 2 in their league. So, there's a possibility that you could have 3 or 4 teams from the small state of Connecticut in the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's incredible. And then Coach Casey at Fairfield is, reloading this year. Now that he is, he's got a chance to be good. So this could be, I don't want to say the golden age, but this could be a special year.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I'm just hoping that we're a small part of that. If UConn can do what they do and be a 1 or 2 seed like they've been, and Quinnipiac has won the regular season a few years in a row, and maybe they break through, or maybe we're fortunate enough to break through, and Yale keeps doing what they're doing, and Central breaks through. Like, this we could give, we could give the reporter, the local news stations and the local papers a lot to write about this year. It could be exciting, and we root for. There's coaching is such a small fraternity. we all root for each other. Obviously, Quinnipiac and Fairfield being in the league, you can't root
It's a
for them
little
when we
tricky.
play them. But outside when we play each other, man, I hope they win every game.
Yeah.
It's good for all of us. The more exposure, that we all bring for each other, I think helps all of us. And certainly UConn's no exception. The better UConn is, the more eyeballs are on college basketball, the better it is for the Sacred Hearts of the world. So we're excited. It's an exciting time, and it's an exciting year. It can be a special year for Sacred Heart, I hope, but also for the state of Connecticut.
Yeah, no, we'll walk our viewers through it in a little bit by showing off some of the facilities here. But I mean, the gym here has recently been redone. If you haven't had a chance to make it out here, we just took a quick peek. We'll do some video in there. But I mean, it's an impressive place. Take me through how important it is. You talk about the investment in the program here, like you're seeing it literally in terms of facilities.
Well, I think the first thing, and I remember having this conversation with Danny Hurley when he first got the UConn job, and to be good, you need alignment.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the first things that he did, was like from your secretary to your video coordinator to your administrator to your athletic director to your vice president. And I think we have that.
Yeah.
We have great alignment. Our athletic director, Judy Enriquio, is as competitive as they get. She really fights for our program. Our program is in a place that it has never been, and I probably couldn't imagine it would have been 10 years ago in terms of the resources and the commitment to winning that we have now. Now it's on me now. Here we have what we need. We have a brand new facility. If you haven't been here, it's beautiful. It's a real intimate place. It's a great place to watch a game. Great technology. It's a great event, and our school is thriving. So we have students to fill it. So it's a really unique place. If you've ever been to the Pitt Center, it's newly renovated. Last year was the first year. I think it's a great bang for your buck.
Yeah.
It's not expensive. I think it's a fun time for families, and I think you're going to watch some pretty good basketball. So we encourage everyone to come out, and we play a lot of Saturday afternoon games for families, so it's not too late. But if you're a basketball fan, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the venue and by the level of play. No question.
We'll wrap with just some kind of rapid fire ones here to end things here. There's some talk lately about whether or not the tournament should expand. Are you a pro expansionist, or how do you feel on that?
I'm anti-expansion. Okay. I think it's the most perfect tournament in the country.
I'm with you.
The only thing that comes even close to capturing the imagination of the country, like the NCAA tournament, is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Why would you mess with it? I mean, so we can have a couple more, 9th, 10th place teams. It's not like they're adding more. So I get it.
Yeah.
Coaches are fighting for each other, and it's such a competitive field. But I think truthfully, I think 64 was a good number, but I'm fine with 68 because the first four has kind of developed its own little niche. I don't see. I would keep it at 68.
I'm with you. Any pregame coaching superstitions you've got?
I am probably an anomaly. I am the most least superstitious coach in the country. It's funny if I do something. Coach Bike, who's my mentor here, Dave Bike, who was here, they'd always say, "Hey, do we practice at this time? Do we eat at this time? Do we stay at this hotel?" He's like, "I'll tell you after the game if it worked." So I think here's the reality: you got to play well.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, no matter what socks you wear. Now, listen, if it works for people, God bless them. But I'm trying to focus on the things I can control, and that is preparing our team to play the best we can. So I am not superstitious, which is atypical because most coaches are, very superstitious. And I think it's because we want to, as things have changed in college basketball, college coaches have less and less control.
Yeah.
So it's our kind of way of controlling things. But I think I've kind of submitted the fact that I don't have as much control as I want to have. So it's just like do whatever the best I can with what I got.
Hey, and if that works, it works. So
no question.
Best non-basketball thing you did in the off season?
That's a good question. Boy. Best non-basketball thing. Well, the best non-basketball thing I do, without question, for the last probably 8 years or so is my wife and I. We've been married 24 years, and we have 2 older children. They're 22 and 20. And about 8 or 9 years ago, she's like, we never go away together. So every year we go away for a long weekend down in Miami.
Okay.
We have our same hotel. We love it. It is the best thing that we do.
Yeah.
And because it's the best thing we do, it is the best thing I do. I think my big joke is that we go down there. We actually like each other when we're down there. But it's a great little trip. I think I recharge.
Yeah.
We recharge our batteries. We're ready to go. It's a little thing, but I do think it's something that I struggle with, and I know most coaches struggle with is being present when you're outside the court.
Yeah.
I'm not great at that.
Yeah.
And maybe I think it's the best thing I do because it's one of the few times where I feel I'm present.
Yeah. And I feel like in this age of college basketball, more than ever, you're constantly glued to your phone, plugged in, and to actually get the chance to go down there, just relax for a couple days.
It's so consuming now. Like the recruiting cycle never ends.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be when you had a good season and you went to the NCAA tournament, or in UConn's case, win the national championship. You know, you get to like enjoy yourself. Like I mean, like we're talking like a day after, we're like sitting down with our guys and who's coming back, who's not coming back. I mean, it's because here's the thing. You know, 5 to 10 years ago, if you had a bad recruiting year, a bad recruiting class, it could hit you 2 or 3 years later. If you have a bad recruiting class now, you could go from being the best team in the league to the worst team in 1 year. So there's no, and it's the calendars later. So like, you know, April and even May, you kind of enjoyed you look back and you feel good about it, and it's different. It is more consuming now than it ever has been, and that's why I do think I use that. I think you have to figure out a way to not let it consume you at all times. It's tricky, and I don't have the answer because I'm awful at it. Ask my wife, but I try. I'm trying.
Well, awesome. Well, glad you got a chance to recharge a little bit before the season starts. We're excited for things to kick off in a couple weeks. So thanks so much for hopping on and appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we're here with Anquan Hill here at Sacred Heart. First team all preseason MAAC team there. How did it feel getting that honor?
You know, it feels good to be recognized from the league and everything, but I've never been the type to really fall too deep into the individual accolades. You know, my main thing is just winning.
Yeah. Hey, well, it's a good sign that it shows that you're a winner there just by making the team. We're here in October, a couple weeks before the start of the season. How are you feeling about the team at this point?
It feels great right now. This team this year, you can feel the competitive nature with us. Like, you know, we want to compete. We're hungry to win games right now. Like, we all have a common goal right now, and that's to win a championship. And I think that we're turning in the right direction to do that.
Yeah, we know Coach Latina is a great guy. He's an energy guy, high energy guy. What's it like getting to play for him?
You know, it's great. Also allowing us to have the freedom that we have offensively, you know, being one of the best offenses in the MAAC last year, but also him and the other assistants getting on us with other little things like rebounding and defense, which was weaknesses for us. So, you know, this whole offseason we've been focusing on trying to strengthen those weaknesses and make us a more complete team.
Yeah. So what should fans look for out of your game this season?
Hey, I mean, I think more so a lot more threes just like last year. You know, a lot more teamwork as well, you know, sharing the ball. And I think those are just the main few things. Also, just being a more complete team in some way. You know, sometimes you can see like effort was a big problem in our team last year, and you know, we can continue to build it up slowly, and like with key additions to our team from the transfer portal, you know, Jan, Deshaun, and even getting people like Jaden back after last year being hurt. It's going to all help with everything like that. Yeah.
All right, we're going to just do some fun, quick ones, get to know you a little bit, all right?
Okay.
All right, what's the go-to hype song before a game?
Ooh, go-to hype song? Never Lie by NBA Youngboy.
Okay. Any pregame ritual superstitions you got before a game?
Now, I'm not superstitious, but before every game, I have to take a shower.
Okay, all right, there you go. Hopefully one afterwards, too.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the pregame meal?
Pregame meal? Normally just basic chicken parm.
That's a good choice.
You know, some pasta. Like, pasta's my favorite food, so.
All right. Any good TV movies you binged in the off-season?
Ooh, good movies in the off. You know, I can't lie. I was hooked on Love Island.
Okay, all right. I hear that's a popular one with some of the guys we talk to. So.
Yes. I have a lot of mixed feelings about that, but yeah.
All right. Favorite current NBA player?
Current NBA player? No, I'm a Hornets fan if nobody knows that. You know, it's a sad life for us, but I guess I'll say my favorite player is Musa Diabate.
Okay, all right. it's not as big of one that we've heard.
I know. Very obscure, you know?
Yeah. Hey, and for the Hornets, we got a lot of UConn fans who listen. They're excited about Liam McNeely down there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Going to see some good play
McCollum,
there.
man.
Yeah. If not basketball, what other sport would you want to play?
Probably football. You know, I don't got the figure to play football right now, but
yeah,
I think I love watching football. You know, I'm an Eagles fan. I watch every game, even though they've been very disappointing so far. But you know, I love watching football. I'll probably be a safety or receiver.
Okay, all right. And then favorite thing you did this summer, not basketball related?
I went on a cruise this summer.
All right, where'd you go?
I went to Turks and Caicos, I went to San Juan, and I went to Dominican, you know.
All right, some good stops.
Yeah, you know, it was my first cruise. It was a cool experience.
Good. Well, Anquan, appreciate it. Good luck this season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're here with Mekhi Connor at Sacred Heart. Mekhi, thanks for joining us for a couple minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
So, big things from you last year, big, especially on the assist side. I mean, breaking records here. What makes you such a special player out there?
I don't know, just going out there and, you know, the coaches have a lot of belief in me and my teammates allowing me as a freshman to come in and just lead them as a team. You know, it just boosts my confidence even more. So it just allowed me to go out there and just do the things that I normally do.
Yeah. You're a local guy. You're a Connecticut guy. What's it like getting to stay at home and play here in Connecticut at Sacred Heart?
It's awesome. You know, my family comes to every game. I think my aunt only missed like one game the whole year. So, like, you know, my mom, everybody comes to every game. So it's just amazing to have a support system and just being a Connecticut guy.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the team headed into the season?
Oh, I feel great. I feel like we're going to be, you know, ready to go when it's time to go. And I feel like we got a great group of guys. And the guys we brought in, the guys we kept are great guys. So I feel really happy about the team this year.
In this era of college basketball, a lot of guys who have good seasons end up transferring somewhere. What's it like for you? You've got some other guys on this team who had great seasons who stayed here. What does that mean about Sacred Heart?
It just shows that, you know, we have a lot of belief in the coaches and in the team and where we're going. And I just feel like, you know, the guys that stayed and, you know, all of us included and the guys that we brought in are just great guys. So I'm just happy for it.
What's it like getting to play for Coach Latina?
It's amazing. You know, he's high energy. You know, he loves to let his point guard go, and you know, I love that guy.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we're gonna do some fun ones. Get to know you a little bit better. Pre-game hype song.
Shot calling by NBA YoungBoy.
All right, that's a good one. Any pre-game ritual superstitions you've got?
I always got to call my granny before the game.
Okay, all right, there you go. Pre-game meal of choice.
Pre-game meal. Probably just a Caesar salad.
Okay, all right, you go white.
Yeah, right.
All right, Anquan's going chicken parm. So you guys are on quite out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Any TVs or movie you binged over the off season here?
Oh, I'm a Space Jam guy. I watch Space Jam like every other day, literally. Like, I love that movie.
Original or the second?
Original.
Okay, there you go. Good choice. If not basketball, what other sport would you want to play?
Football.
Okay.
Yeah.
What position?
Wide receiver.
All right, I like it. Let's see. We'll wrap with this one. Favorite thing you did this summer that wasn't basketball related?
Buy a dog.
Oh, what kind of dog you get?
I got a Cane Corso.
Okay, there you go. How are you liking it?
I love it.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, no problem.
Getting to know us, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.